everyone, happy Monday. Well, I'm recording this on a Monday. If I get it out on Monday, that would be good. But yes, hello and welcome to my Flosstube channel. So, oh, there you are, Coco. Oh, is someone getting jealous? I was about to start this and I called Coco's name and she didn't come. So I went and found Bumble to come and introduce you to. She's one of my other cats. This is my old girl. She's about 15. So she's very small. So this is our little baby cat that we always joked never grew up. She weighs about 3.5, 4 pounds. So yeah, very small. As you can see, she's that's all of her. But yes, so this is Bumble. Bumble's never been on camera before, so she's not sure why I'm talking to the magic portal. But yeah, there she is. So hello, anyway, and welcome to my Flosstube channel. Now Coco snuck out as soon as I started talking, so obviously she's very jealous. Are you going to come join us or not? No, she's not. But there we go. Anyway, welcome to my Flosstube channel. So I'm Zoe and this is my channel. So I talk about sort of stitching, cross stitch mainly, sometimes a few other bits. I haven't got any other bits to show you today, so it's just stitching. Hopefully it'll be a very short one, because if you saw my last video, you know that my plans for this month were to just work on one whip. I didn't just work on one whip, but I do have an excuse for not just working on one. So last month I set myself a goal. So I watched Lindsay's video, Blushing Pink Stitches, and she had, in June, she challenged herself to work on just one project. So she did just June and worked on one of her Haids all month. So that was the only project she worked on, and well, give or take, I think. And she put in 22, I wrote it down, I was organised, 22,510 stitches that she did. So I thought, well, once I was looking over my goals for the year, I'm quite far behind on my goal for my Haid. I wonder if I could put in that amount of stitches in a month, because then that will, you know, help me to achieve my goal. I think I had 32,000 stitches to do for that rest of the year. So I thought, well, 22,000, if I can do that in 1 month, then, you know, 10,000 over the next sort of 4 is more doable. So I was like, let's give it a go. So I sort of worked out how many I needed each day, and I knew there was a few days that I was going to be away in the month, so I wasn't going to be able to take it with me to work on, and sort of estimated that I needed to do about 800 stitches per day to for every day that I could stitch for the goal. But there's a few days I actually went over that. I should have checked first, but I know there was at least 2 days. Yeah, there's 2 days I did 2,000 stitches. No, there was 3 days that I did 2,000 stitches, 2,000 or more. But yeah, and then a few days that I did, you know, under 1,000, and then the rest was somewhere in between. So, but I did manage to stitch. I don't really stick them on up. It's always very boring to look at, but you can sort of see there is something written in each space. So, and you know, I have kept up with this every month. We're in August now, and most planners I give up with after the first month. So I am going to be buying this for next year, hopefully, as long as I can get my hands on one. But I need to work out where to get them from, because I think last time I bought this one from the Essex Needles retreat. It's from a lady called Susie. She'd ended up with 2. I think one had been gifted and then she'd bought one, so she then sort of sold the one that she'd bought, which was how I got this. But yeah, but I'm not entirely sure where to buy them from for next year. I mean, I know I'm pretty sure you can get them from a lot of the American companies like 123 Stitch and that, but I don't know if any British companies sell it, so I might have to have a look around at like Peakside or Lakeside or any of the others that I know. But yeah, unless anyone's planning on bringing another one to sell at the September Essex retreat, in which case I will buy it from them then, if anyone else happens to have just bought. But yes, anyway, point was, yeah, I did manage to stitch on it almost every day. I think it was 1, 2, 3, There was only 3 days that I didn't pick it up to stitch on out of the whole month. And as we got on, I sort of set myself a goal like partway through the month. It was like, well, by the halfway mark, I need to have got, you know, halfway through the number of stitches. So I was hoping to achieve the same amount that Lindsay did. But by the time we got halfway through, I'd actually gone in quite hard and I was quite far ahead of my goal. So I did start to slow down then afterwards, because I thought, well, I've not got as many stitches left to do, because I was close to my goal and I still had loads of days to achieve it. So then, and I thought, no, I want to get some progress done and I needed something to motivate me. So I was like, I wonder if I could stitch, if I could get the whole amount that I needed. So I needed 32,600 stitches to achieve my goal for the year of getting to 15%. So I was like, can I do that? So yeah, so then managed to get in another couple of days of doing sort of 2,000 stitches. And I actually achieved 32,601 stitches in this project in the 1 month. I'm very glad that I achieved my goal, because I really am done with that project for a while now. If I didn't pick it up the rest of the year, I wouldn't be upset. I'm quite happy. That was so without further ado, here's some pictures. Editing Zoe will insert pictures. Now the picture I've got from like my start point is not very good, because I only took a screenshot of me showing it on the video and I can't get the whole amount. So I've got it on a scroll frame, and because I'm working in the diagonals, my diagonals are now wider than the scroll frame, so I'm having to scroll every time I stitch. So I can't get a single picture of the whole lot altogether. So the only picture I had, so I'm going to try and like scribble in, like draw in like a little line, like colour in the bit that I did, so you can sort of see this is where I started and this is where I am. I don't know if that's going to work. I haven't tried that yet. If it works, I will have inserted that. If it didn't work, you won't see that at all, because it obviously looked horrendous. So anyway, but this is my final thing, and what I've done is I've taken it off of my scroll bars. So this scroll frame was actually made by my dad. So because I couldn't find scroll bars wide enough for it. Now, since asking my dad to make it, I did find out that the Millennium frames do make a one wide enough. Unfortunately, the Millennium frames, 1, are not cheap, and 2, there was a hell of a wait list on them. And, you know, 3, I was going to have to get them imported as well, so I would have had to pay tax. So I'd already asked my dad to make me a frame, so I was like, you know, I'll just leave him to it. I'd shown him like the other scroll frames I had, the smaller ones, and was like, I just want a bigger one, and it's going to have a lot of fabric on for a long time, so I want it to be quite heavy duty. So I don't want like spindly little dowels holding things together. I want it to be quite solid, which I didn't quite think that far enough ahead to then realise it's actually also quite a heavy frame. So that's why I can't hold it up anymore. I've lost a lot of strength in my shoulders and my neck over the last few years. I have a condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a genetic condition that basically means my body can't process or use collagen. So my joints dislocate a lot, especially my big joints in my shoulders. And every time they dislocate, they get weaker and weaker. So now holding up a frame that's really heavy, basically I can't do it without dislocating my shoulders. So I can no longer hold it up, hence I always put the pictures in. But yeah, I mean, I've had it on this frame for what, 4 years now, and it's working. It's heavy duty. It's stood up to it. But yeah, point being, I've taken it out of the frame. These are the sidebars I got him to make. So I will just do a quick like 60-second. This is how he made it. But basically, sidebars, so like 2 by 1, and then he sort of countersunk the same size as the width of the dowel. Obviously drilled a hole through, and then the dowels have a double-ended screw, so you know, one of those screws that doesn't have a head because it has the rings on each side. So I countersunk that into the dowel, and then obviously the other side goes through here. I put a washer on and then a wing nut, and that's how the whole thing's held together. So my dowels are 36, I think my fabric's 36, my dowels are about 42 inches, so it's hanging on the chair over there. So that's what I'm looking at, like behind the camera. So the dowel's probably about 40 inches long, maybe 42 inches long. But yeah, so that's what I've got it on. And I've taken it off that one so I could get a good picture, which I'll put in a little video. But also because I'm planning on taking it to the retreat, so the September retreat at Essex. And I'm not taking it on the big stand. I thought if I take it off of the rods, roll it up, and I'll just wrap it in a towel or some fabric, and I'll just take it on the 2 rods to be rolled out then. So yeah, so 15%, 1.5 was my goal, and I have achieved that on the dot. So how many, I can't remember how many stitches that is in total now. Let me bring up, so this is my old phone. I use this for Pattern Keeper. So also I'll take a screenshot of like the image, how it looks there, and see if I can insert that as well, just so you can see proportionally how much of the design that I've done. But I have done 114,639 stitches out of 764,235 stitches. So yeah, I mean 15%, what's that, between a sixth and a seventh? It's about 1/7 of the design. So yeah, I'm a little bit behind. I think if it's taken me 4 years, so I started it right at the end, I think Christmas 2019. So we're coming up 5 years to do 7. That means it's going to be at the same rate. It's going to take me 35 years to finish, and my goal was to have it done in 20. So I am going to have to pick up the pace a little bit, obviously to get it done. So, but that will be a goal for next year. This year I'm only planning on picking it up and working it again if I roll it in my on my Wipopoly board, but only if I specifically roll that project. So if I land on one of the stations where it says to work on a haid, I will be picking up one of my other haids that I have goals on, so my bath time, or sort of 3 baby dragons, I think is another one that I want to get finished. So I will pick up one of those. But yeah, so that is what I did for the month. So then my next project I worked on, I picked up on the on Wednesday the 7th, it was right at the start of the month actually, because I basically had news from Janet on Janet Jabber's channel, that our friend Daleen had passed, our Stitchy friend. So her channel was So Grateful, so SEW Grateful, and it hit me a lot harder than I thought it would have. So that was quite a hard one to deal with. I can explain that later if anyone wants to know why. Not personally because I had a relationship with Daleen. In fact, I'd never even spoken to her. I've commented on a few of her videos, but that was it. So, you know, we were only friends in the same way that I consider anyone on Flosstube is a Flosstube friend. You know, we didn't speak outside of her comments. But yeah, but it did really hit me. So I thought, so Janet mentioned that, oh gosh, who was it? No, someone else had started up a hashtag for her, and also it's Sammy, maybe, but I can't remember what her channel is either. But someone had also set up a design. If I can find it, I will link it. So set up a like a SAL, you know, a SAL design, free design to download if you want to stitch that. But anyway, they said we'll set up a sort of a stitch along for Daleen and call it Stitching with Daleen. And so if anyone wants to stitch a piece that sort of reminds them of her, or sort of things she liked, things like that. And so I wanted to get in on that. You know, I felt that I needed to stitch something for her. I don't know, it's really weird. I don't know how to say it, but you know, I wanted to stitch something. So had a look around and through some of my patterns, and I remember I picked up this book. So this is Emma Congdon's Cross Stitch for Soul, and I thought, I wonder if there's something in there that's sort of sunshiny. You know, Daleen she was always bright. She was always full of energy. You know, she always had something she baked, you know, or made, you know, to show off. She was always doing things in life. I know she'd had a long battle with cancer, I think sort of 10 years. 10 years maybe, that she was sort of diagnosed with cancer, and sort of she'd written a book on sort of how she sort of healed with that, and things she'd done, and stuff. But anyway, so she, you know, that they were the things that I thought of when I thought of Daleen, and this was the first pattern in this book, and I thought, yeah, I thought that is it. That's perfect. To start each day with a grateful heart. She always had things to share that she was grateful for. No matter what, you know, there was always something that she found every day. And so yeah, so this was what I decided to do, and I stitched on it that first day, or the day after I found out. I went and found the chart, you know, dragged through sort of all my threads, kitted it up, and then stitched on this the next day. And this was my little start. So I'm doing this over one. I also stitched on this yesterday, so that's why it's still on the frame. But I stitched on this over one. It's a 32 count from Megan, Coffee Crafts fabric. So it's I don't know if you can tell at all, there is no sun today, it's just clouds. We've had a storm warning, but the storm's never hit this far, so we're quite far inland, so I'm like, we won't get a storm, but we'll just get cloud. But anyway, I don't know if you can tell if it's shiny. I have no idea. I can't even see how that's appearing on the camera. But anyway, shiny fabric. It's sort of a vaguely, you know, it's very pale, sort of pale pink, green. I mean, I don't know if the green's just the spot, just the opalescent, but it's sort of pinky, blotchy, you know, fabric. But yeah, so I'm starting that just at the bottom, and then I'm going to finish that into a little cushion, obviously when it's done. So I worked on that a couple of days. I took that one away when I was away, because obviously I couldn't take my big Haid, so I did work on that one a little bit while I was away as well. So what have I done? I've done, oh gosh, maths, because I've done that across, I haven't added up the two. So yesterday was the 1st of September. So I did work on it yesterday. So I've done, what's that, 2,424 stitches. And I think I'm sort of quite far through. You know, I think I've done the, oh, let's find it again. I've sort of finished, you know, this swoop, which was quite a lot of stitching, and I'm just starting up in this. I think, you know, I've only got this little bit to fill in. And then the words at the bottom, which shouldn't take too long. So, you know, shouldn't take much to finish. Then hopefully I'll, you know, have a cushion to display for her. I'm going to add her name, that sort of the hashtag, you know, her name at the on the bottom, because it is for Daleen, you know. So I will be adding that on there. But yeah, and then so that was a new start, but I'm not really counting it as a new start, so, because I'm hoping to sort of get it finished this month. You know, it shouldn't take too much longer to finish, and so I'm not going to count it as sort of a new start in terms of having to put it on my whip rotation or my wool properly or anything. And because it's a memorial piece, I'm not counting it towards my goal of I have to finish 2 of my whips before I can start a new thing, because this being a memorial piece is more important than my goals, and I'm stitching this for, I think, does this make sense? Like, it makes sense in my head. So yeah, so now this next one is a new start, a fun new start, so this does count. And this is another hashtag that I saw. So this is from Stitching with My Littly. Oh, I have things written down everywhere. And this was a new start for so it's 3 cheers for trade tears, Sal. Apparently they have a thing for long hashtags. And me and my mum both started this. We bought a couple of the Madame Chantilly trays some time ago to start. And I thought, oh, well, we've got those charts. So why don't we, you know, start one of those. My mum just had a couple of, you know, a finish as well, and so I thought, why don't we start something new? So this was towards the end of, I think this was Bank Holiday Monday, so the 26th of August we started this. Now I had this design, so this is the Christmas sal. I'd bought this one and my mum had bought the Halloween one, so the plan was I was going to start this, she was going to start the Halloween one. My mum looked at the Halloween one and couldn't find a fabric that she liked to stitch the Halloween one, so she was like, hey, I'll stitch the Christmas one. So she's now stitching my chart, so I'll show you that up first. She does have it sort of wedged in the frame, but she didn't, her Q-snaps are quite old, so they're not as like as tight as the newer ones, so she's had to wedge it, even though she's stitching in the corner of the piece, the fabric, she's kind of had to put it in quite far so that the clips can cling to the fabric. So the other side of this is basically just another straight grey bit, but she has done all the way along, so it comes to, well, it's that far and that far, so it comes to about here. But there is, so the little bauble in the middle and some of the holly there, and she started sort of the branches of maybe snowdrops is out here, maybe, but yeah, so that's what she's done. And this is a piece of fabric from Megan. Again, this is a 40 count even weave. Megan doesn't name the colours of her fabric. She dyes as she, as she pleases. So she has all sorts of fun colours, but they're all virtually one-offs. She dyes like a batch, but once that batch is gone, it's gone. So this is sort of a pale pink, sort of similar colour to my shirt, and sort of very mottled as well. But yeah. So that is what she's doing. So that's the first time she's worked on 40 count, so she's doing it over 2. She's still using 2 threads though, which isn't too bad. Mum's not here, so I can say that a couple of her stitches aren't quite as neat as they could be. But to be fair, she is working with 2 strands on 40 count, and I did suggest to her that maybe only use 1, but she's quite happy with using 2, and her tension's quite tight normally. So I think she can get away with using the 2 strands. I have quite a loose tension on my stitches, so they're quite sort of poofy normally. So I think I definitely wouldn't get away with using 2. I mean, I struggle with 2 strands on 18 count. So yeah, I wouldn't have been able to go up to the 20 count. It's 40 over 2, so the 20. But anyway, so she'd now stitched my Christmas piece. So what was I to do apart from buy a new chart to stitch on, obviously, and the two is it? I can't remember which one's which. I've got Kayla and Lauren, and I can't remember which one's the Litley and which one's the so. But one of them said that they were going to be stitching from the Erin Elizabeth Designs site, and they were going to be doing the nautical one. And so I thought, oh, well, I'll have a look on there and see what they've got. And I looked through and I was like, eh. And wasn't anything that caught my eye until I saw this one. Now this is the B tier B tier design, and I quite liked it on the sort of dark fabric that she had, that the model had been stitched on. So I thought, oh great, I'll do that. Have I got any dark fabric? So went to my trusty stash of Megan Coffee Craft fabric. Other fabrics are available. I literally just have like 75 pieces of Megan's fabric because I love them. And I found this. Now it has some sort of grayer areas and some brown, cooler and warmer areas. But it's basically dark brown and black and grey and that. And I thought, perfect, I will stitch on that. So I bought a new chart. I didn't want to buy anything else new for it because I wanted to start it. So the chart I've got as a PDF, so I had that instantly, and I went to start it straight away. And this was my start. So I did, my mum doesn't count her stitches, so I have no idea how many stitches she'd done, but I did 669 stitches on mine, and I basically finished the all of the tray. And this colour here had like, 10 stitches, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 stitches. And that's the skin of the gnome, or gonk, what you call it. So I thought, right, I'll whack that in and get that colour done as well. And then I went to bed because it was like midnight. But yeah, so it's 2 colours. You can sort of see the stripe in here. But it is 2 colours, white and a light grey. I think it's you know, white and 415. It's a very pale grey. So I'm doing this over 2 on a 32 count linen. And I'm thinking I might finish this flat as a flat fold, sort of similar to the model stitch as well. Partly because I don't want to have, you know, I don't have an infinite amount of space to frame every single thing that I finish. And also because I bought something that I will show you when I come to my shopping section. But actually will be very soon, because that's on my whips. I literally worked on just those 3 things. So my Animal Kingdom, Daleen's Grateful Piece, and my B tier Sal. So all the, yeah, I did say the name for the Sal, because it's a long name. I will tag it as well in my description, because it's a very long one and it's very easy to do the spelling wrong. So, which, not that I did that, like of course I did get so yeah, I will put the spelling down below. But yeah, also one thing, is anyone else having this issue? Now, I have had a couple of people say it, but I don't know if it's a global issue or not, with Instagram, where you put in a tag on something, you search the tag, you click on the tag and literally nothing comes up, and you're like, I know for a fact people have posted stuff under this tag. Like even when you go to post a picture and you write in the tag and it says, like I think this one, when I posted my picture on Instagram and it said 7 public posts, so I posted it, added mine, so technically adding mine would have made 8 public posts, and then I click on the hashtag and all it brings up is literally the picture I posted and the one that Stitching Kayla posted. That's it. They're the only 2. And I'm like, where's everyone else's post? Why can't I see them? And it's not that they're private, from private accounts, because surely Instagram wouldn't have said there was 7 public posts if they were private posts. But also, even that, my mum posted on the hashtag, and we're friends on Facebook, regardless of the fact that she has a private profile, but I can't even see hers under the tag. So I'm like, have I broken Instagram and it's just me and I've clicked something and that's why it's not working? Or does this not work for anyone else either and it's an Instagram issue? Like if I accidentally click like, don't share tag, like if I click something and it's literally just a me issue and everyone else can see things fine, like can someone tell me, like is Instagram just not working anymore? Because I could have swore that when Instagram first came out, the only thing Instagram was good at was tags. That was it. That was the whole point of Instagram. And now it doesn't seem to work. I'm like, yeah. So, yeah, please let me know if I've made a mess of stuff or if that's actually how it works now. But yeah, so what's next? So do a little bit of shopping. I say a little bit of shopping because I don't go shopping that often. My little bit of shopping is one thing. I saw, oh gosh, I've since seen someone else post this as well now. Can I remember who it was? No, of course not. Why would I remember things? I didn't write it down. I saw someone post this, I think, wait, was it the two ladies, quite a new channel, 2 ladies, and they've recently done a series of like beginner cross stitch, you know, where they talk about, you know, they have a whole series where they talk about, okay, this is what fabric is, this is what Q-snaps are, you know, like a beginner's series. Is it their channel? I don't even know. It's definitely someone from the UK because they specify that they got this from the range. And I've since seen a couple of other sellers do it, but I went to the range and I picked this up, and this is a dough bowl. It's a very light dough bowl, as you can see by the fact that I'm holding it. You know, it's not balsa wood, but my dad said it's pine, so it's quite light. And it is a dough bowl. It's about 2 foot wide, sort of, I don't know, like 10 inches, 8 inches, something like that. Sort of a couple of inches deep in there. And yeah, now these are made for $9.99. They're sold for, sorry, $9.99 at the range. The range is like a, I don't know, I would call it like equivalent of like a big box store. I've never been to America, so I don't know what your Michaels and Joann's and stuff like that is, but I assume it's kind of similar to that. It's like, it's not like a hobby craft, like a craft store. You know, they sell like garden furniture and sofas, but they also sell like candles and homewares and frames and plants and paper and craft supplies. You know, they have a bit of all sorts, and it's all quite cheap, as you can tell, £9.99. One thing I will say is you can tell this is £9.99. So quality wise, when I picked it up, they had 6 on the shelf, and I picked this. I felt this was the nicest one. I quite like the grain on this one. Some of the others were quite fair. Some of them, where there's been flaws in the wood, they've kind of filled it with like a wood putty and sort of smoothed it over, so you'll see there's like just a beige blob where they've filled it up. Obviously if you're going to fill it with stuff, that doesn't really matter, but you know, it's completely up to you. But I mean, there's even like a couple of weird holes. I'm hoping that's not woodworm. I might have my dad look at that and make sure that's like a drilled hole and not, I don't want this whole thing falling apart in a few months. But yeah, it's very good. Now, when it came, I did give this to my dad to sand, because there was a few little, like, especially at the edges, and in here it was like just a little bit rough, and I was like, I don't want to put my stitching in there because I just don't want it to catch. I was just a little bit, so I just got him literally to grab a bit of sandpaper, and like, he was literally down the shed for like 10 minutes, and then he came back and it was fine. Like, there's no, you know, I can rub my hand over it, like I'm not going to get spelks from it now, so it's fine. But yeah, and like I said, it's very light. I think it weighs like, I think it said online, because obviously I went online to check the stock, and it says for shipping amounts it weighs about 500 grams, so it's a pound. You know, it weighs like the same as a can of something, can of pop. You know, it's very light. But point being, I have a lot of things, a lot of little finishes that I keep saying, oh, I'll finish that into a little pillow or a little cushion or a flat fold or this or that, and I don't do it. And I know the reason I don't do it is because what would I then do once I'd finished something into a cushion? At the minute, my finishes all just sit in a drawer. And I know full well that if I finish something into a little cushion, I'm literally going to put it back in the drawer. I have nowhere to put it. And I think that's why I've been putting off finishing things, is because it seemed a pointless exercise. It was like, well, I'm going to go through all this work, finishing it, getting it all pretty, and then just chuck it in a drawer, never to be seen again, sort of thing. But so hopefully I'll get one of these. Now it will motivate me to start finishing some of my, you know, smalls into cushions, because I've got somewhere to display them. Now, granted, I don't know where I'm going to put this when I have stuff in it. Like, that's still, I need to find a home for it. But I'm halfway there. I'm halfway to finding, you know, a home. So this is slightly too big, because I thought it would go on one of the shelves in my bookcase, quite nice. But it's slightly too wide that way. I think my bookcase is like 9 inches deep, and this is like 9.5 wide, and it sort of just hung over a bit, and I was like, it looks weird sticking out a little bit, and I thought I'm going to end up catching it as I walk past, and I don't want to throw it all on the floor. So I thought no. So I need to find somewhere for this. I don't want to put it on top of my bookcase, because my bookcases are like 6-7 foot tall, and if you put it on top, I'm never going to see what's in it, because it's going to be like outside. I will find a home in my house for this. I do quite like the bare wood, so I've not asked Dad to varnish it, because he just said, do you want it varnished? I said no, because I quite like just the naturalness of it. I didn't want the shininess of varnish. I thought, well, I could wax it or oil it, but then I was like, I don't want the oil to over time like leak into my finishes. So I don't know if that's a thing, but it just in the back of my mind I was like, I know you put like linseed oil on and it soaks in, but I'm like, is it going to soak in forever? Or if I put something on this, it's like a white piece of fabric, like linen, is it going to like... So yeah, so at the minute this is completely unfinished, but also it's not going to go outside, so it's not going to go wet. So, but yeah, I will ask him about those holes. But I'm sure they're just random drill holes. Okay, so plans for this current month. So this month we have the Essex Needles Retreat coming on the... I don't know, the 20, oh look on my calendar, I think it's the weekend of the 13th, yes it is, right, so I haven't got it written down in here, but visually I can match it to the calendar on my phone, but I film on my current phone. Like I said, this is my old phone. I only keep this for Pattern Keeper. Just because the amount of files that I have on Pattern Keeper, I don't want to be clogging up my phone that I use for videos, so that's what that is. So yeah, so not this weekend but next weekend at the retreat. So for the retreat, I'm going to be taking my greenhouse, Sal, because I've also recently finally got around to buying the aquarium that matches the greenhouse, the Lola Crow's aquarium, Sal. And Megan, I'm pretty sure Megan's going to be there. I may have made that up in my head, but I want to set my greenhouse out because I want a piece of fabric for the aquarium, Sal, but I want it to have the same sort of vibe as the greenhouse, Sal, so that I can frame them together. So I know the aquarium would look nice in a blue or green, like an underwatery one, but I don't want it to look too different. So I thought I want it to still have that kind of grey vibe, you know, as the other one. So I thought if I just take the other one with me, and then I can literally go up to Megan and be like, I want it to feel like this, but for this one. And she has a much better idea of colours and also the fabrics that she has, to then be able to offer me those suggestions and pick them out rather than me spending an hour looking at everything. So I'm hoping she will help me pick out a piece for that. I will also be taking my Daleen piece, hopefully to finish, because if it's not already finished. What else was I going to take? I had a list in my head of things that I needed to take. Do I remember? Did I write that list down? No. Why would I write things down? So Daleen's piece, my greenhouse. I think, I was also going to take my tier, my B tier, because I don't want to put that on my whip list, like my Whipopoly board. So I thought hopefully if I take that I can get it finished, and then it will be finished and done, and I won't have to put it on my whip rotation. So yeah, so not sure if I'll be taking anything else apart from those three. Obviously we'll see when we get there. Oh, I'll also be taking my ink circles piece, because that's my kind of new one. I do want to get finished this year. So that's my new focus now that I've finished my goal on my Animal Kingdom. I've got a new focus piece for that, because I do want to get that finished this year, so we're taking that as well. So when I go to the retreat, I try and take pieces that I know I can stitch on intermittently. So I can do a few stitches, have a chat with someone, and then come and do a few more. It's not one where I have to physically sit and count and focus on a whole block of time. And if I get distracted, I'm going to kind of lose where I am, and it's going to be hard. I try and take pieces where I can pick up, like the B tier, I can sort of sit, do a motif, and then get up, go chat to someone, have a cup of tea, whatever. My ink circles piece, I can, because I'm only using the same two colours, you know, so it's not monogamous, what it is, mono, when you have just one colour, I can't even remember the word. I know, I'm sure it starts with mono, but like, whatever, anyway, it's only got two colours, so it's basically, you know, a single one. So yeah, that one is very easy to kind of grab and put down, pick up, put down. Also I can stitch on that with two needles at two separate times, and I know Jackie definitely gets very excited when I do that, so I have to take that piece. But anyway, they're the things that I think of when I go on retreat. What can I stitch on where I don't have to focus really hard for a block of time? I don't need lots of extra equipment, so I'm thinking I might not take my mag this time. I will just take my little sort of portable light that I have that's quite bright, so that if I need the extra brightness for whatever reason, I've got it. So I don't take like my 56 count, you know, anything too fine that I'm going to need a mag, because I don't want to take the mag this time. So, you know, they're the things that I think of. What can I stitch without any extra equipment and without focus? And yeah. And also I am going to finally have, it's a new start, but it's a new start that I've been planning for almost all year. So this is all year, all summer. This is the Frosted Pumpkin Stitcheries Arctic Animals sale. So I'll put a picture up of, I think it's like the first 5 pieces out, and I'm hoping to do it on this piece of fabric. Megan fabric again. I do have other fabrics, I really do, I promise you. There are loads of other fabric shops, and I do own other fabrics. It just happens to be that these are all Megan's, okay, like. But anyway, so this one, it's not this kind of grey. It's a lot more purple. So yeah, that's a bit better. So it's a bit more like that. So sort of little bits of blues, purples. It kind of gave me like, you know, Aurora Borealis kind of vibes. You know, that kind of night sky with the pink and the purple that you get. So I picked this fabric to do. I haven't done a proper floss toss yet. If I might put a picture in with my floss. So these threads are from, again, Lindsay, Blushing Pink Stitches. These are raw broderie threads. But anyway, this fabric, that's start. That's going to be my retreat new start. So, yeah, so I think with that new start and this new start, so if I get this finished and I get my stitching with Daleen finished, you know, which is my goal for this month, I'm hoping my number of whips is still going to be about right. So I think I'm still going to end the year with less whips than I started, which was my overall goal, was that I wanted to get my total list down. So I haven't looked at my numbers yet, but I'm hoping that that's going to be right. But yeah, so plans going forward. Obviously I've got the retreat that I've just spent like 20 minutes talking about. So got the retreat. I'm going to be going back to my Wipopoly. Following on from my goals that I did mention, is obviously I do have a goal for the year to get finished my, I want to get up to 53% on my bath time and 20% on my pandemic. So I needed to do sort of between 1,000 and 1,500 stitches a month. I think that's gone up now because obviously I included August in those calculations, but I didn't stitch on them for the whole of August. So I may need to edit those numbers a bit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a roll for Wipopoly, and then I'm going to do sort of a chunk on bath time or pandemics. Probably I'll probably set myself 1,000 stitches. So do a Wipopoly roll, do 1,000 on either of those, roll a Wipopoly again, another 1,000 on each of those. I think on both of those, like, I could, 1,000 stitches is either a good day of stitching or kind of 2 days. You know, 1,000 stitches doesn't take me more than sort of 2 days normally, unless I'm out, I'm busy, I've got other stuff to do. But that doesn't happen that often. So, you know, most of my days I'm just here stitching. So yeah, so a little bit of life update. So that's all the stitching. If you don't care for a life update, that's fine. Like, I'm not going to force you to sit here and listen to me wither about my life. But yeah, quick little life update. So I am going for surgery on the 10th of the month, so week tomorrow, and that's for it's for a bladder procedure. So it's nothing too scary. The only thing I'm conscious about is how long it will last. So at the minute, what I've been having done so far lasts about 2 or 3 months, and I've been having that procedure. It's supposed to be every 6 months, but with the NHS waiting list, it's about every 9 months to a year. And so every 9 months to a year, I get sort of 2 months where my organs are working properly, or my bladder and kidneys. And so this time they're going to do an extra procedure and then basically double what they were doing the first time, so do more than what they were doing, hoping that it will last longer. But I'm conscious that I don't know how much longer it's going to last, and obviously how often they're planning on doing this surgery. So I'm going under a general anaesthetic. I didn't used to, but to have what I'm having done, I have to go under. And I mean, I've gone under anaesthetic a lot, so I've had a lot of operations. I think this will be the 9th or 10th time I'll have gone under. And so I'm not sure how long they're expecting this to last. Obviously it won't be indefinite, I know that. It's only a temporary fix because they can't, I have a genetic condition, there is no cure for genetic conditions. So yeah, so I'm wondering how long it's going to last, but also how often they're planning on doing the surgery, and if that's going to be worth it. You know, obviously if it's only going to last me say 4 months, are they planning on operating on me like every 4 months, or are they going to sort of say, well, you know, you can't really go under anaesthetic more than, you know, that often, so we're going to only be doing it once a year, so what am I supposed to do for this sort of other 8 months, you know, or is this going to last a lot longer? Am I going to get a whole year of function out of this? And, you know, it's, I don't know. So if I can have some sort of, you know, good juju, thoughts and prayers, you know, just that hopefully, you know, this will last an acceptable amount of time. You know, I know it won't be forever, but a decent amount of time I can cope with. So yeah. So like I said, it's day surgery, so I'm only supposed to be in like the day. You know, I go in, have the op, wake up. As soon as I can kind of walk around, you know, have something to eat, have a drink, go pee, like they're like, yeah, you can go home now. So I should only be in for the day. I probably won't get any stitching done that day. I'm not going to be taking my cross stitch into the hospital with me, just because there's too many pieces to cross stitch in terms of threads and fabric and scissors and needles and, you know, lots of different pieces that could go missing while I'm being moved around from ward to ward and shoving things in and out of bags. So I'm just going to take some knitting with me, because it's literally, well, I have a circular needle, so it's one needle, a ball of wool, and I can shove it in a bag and that's fine. I can sort of stop, start, shove it in and it's fine. So I'm just going to take some knitting with me. Obviously how I feel when I get home, if, you know, after having anaesthetic, my brain might be a bit fuzzy and I don't want to do any stitching to then find out, like, when I look at it the next day and be like, what did I do? Like, I have to flog all of this stuff. So I, you know, I might not do any stitching that day, but you know, see how I get on after that. Obviously 2 days later I'm at the retreat, so, you know, I can catch up on my stitching then, that'll be fine. But yeah, also I did want to apologise to I've only just started looking back at comments, so I did have a period of time where I was too scared to look at the comments, so I had a couple of and a few not nice comments left on my Instagram, and I was sort of worried that would feed over into YouTube. And I know other people I've watched have had some not nice comments left, you know, bitching about, you know, you take too long to talk about the stitching, why are you talking about this, I want stitching, I want this, you know, why are you setting down, why are you making it a competition, why are you competing with people, why, you know, why are you doing this? I know Teresa Little Stitcher recently had a comment of, you know, why are your nails painted different colours? It makes you look poor. Like, just like really weird comments, but sort of some of them, you know, I mean, that one we can laugh at that and be like, what's that got to do with it? But at the time, it's, you know, sometimes it's really hard to make the videos, and then when you get some shitty comments and you're just like, you know, what's the point? Fuck it, I won't do it at all. So I haven't been looking at comments recently, and I have just started looking back at comments and sort of replying to a few people and highlighting some comments. So I do want to thank you for the people that have left comments. They have all been really nice, and I feel bad for not looking, but I was at a time where if I did get a shitty comment, I just wouldn't have filmed anymore. I would have just stopped right then, and I'm a bit better now, so I think I can handle some comments. So yeah, so I'm happy. And there aren't any bad comments on my videos, that's the thing, but it was just that in the back of my mind, it was like, what if there is? And if I didn't look, I could then put, you know, I didn't see them, sort of thing. Does that make sense? But yeah, getting back into it now, replying to some comments. So I completely forgot, like 52 minutes in, I'd planned this for like almost the whole month. I'm going to have a competition, so it's to do with my supersized Max Colour Amazing Animal Kingdom. So this piece has, let me just double check, so it has 237 colours. So can I lift this up? So it has all of these colours and this run here, so all of these colours as well. And some sparkle. So it has all of those colours in. And I was saying to my mum the other day, I was like, I wonder how many colours I've not used yet. So, you know, have I used all of the colours? Have I used half the colours? You know, which colours haven't I reached yet? Because obviously I've only done the winter part of the winter shelf, the autumn shelf, and I've only just started on the summer shelf. I mean, I know I'm assigning them seasons. I don't know if they have seasons, but I'm assigning them seasons. So how many colours have I not touched? So I thought, why don't I have a competition? So I'm not going to tell you what I think, because I don't want to influence people. Also because what I think might be completely wrong, and I don't want everyone to go with what I think and then it's all be really wrong. So what I'm going to say is I want you to guess below how many colours you think I haven't used yet. So obviously your answer will be between 0 and 237. But yeah, which ones? So by used, I mean, have I done at least one stitch in that, out of that colour? So how many do you think I've not touched? So there's been 0 stitching so far in that colour. And write the below. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically sort of see whoever gets the closest to the right answer, and they'll win a. I was going to say that a copy of the chart, but I'm aware that not everyone wants to do a supersized max colour of Amazing Animal Kingdom. So I will basically buy you any chart from Haid, up to the value of a single chart, not one that's in the group. So any single chart from the Haid site I'll buy. So whoever gets closest. Obviously, if there's more than one of you or quite a few, I will do a random number generator sort of thing to pick that. And for transparency, how I'm going to work it is I'm going to bring up the original list, like the printed, pattern list, where it lists how many stitches of each colour there is. And then I'm going to bring up my pattern keeper copy where it tells me how many stitches I have left. And then obviously I will compare those two lists and to work out, which ones I haven't stitched on yet. And that's where I'll be getting the number from. So yeah, so how many colours do you think I have not used yet? And yeah, and then you can be in a draw to win a chart from Heaven and Earth Designs. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do this month to celebrate the fact that I achieved my year's goal in August. But yeah, so that is everything. Hopefully it won't take me too long to edit this. I know the video somehow is still an hour, even though I literally had one project. So somehow I still got an hour of chatting. Hopefully it won't take me too long to edit, and I can get this up in the next couple of days. And then hopefully I will be able to do another video in a couple of weeks after the retreat, obviously sharing some bits from the retreat and what I worked on then. But yeah, so I think that is everything. But yeah, that's everything. So thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are, and I will see you soon. So I love you lots.